Good morning, Scallywags! I'm Spook.
And I'm Danny. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for watching. Today, as we mentioned yesterday, and talking about ways to improve horror movies, we are discussing things that we strongly dislike. I'm not going to say hate. I'm going to say things that certain universal fandoms that we do not buy into.
I completely agree. There are definitely many out there, but these are ours. If you don't agree with them, it's your opinion.
A good example, and I'm only using this because it's literally sitting right here in front of me, but this is one for me. I hate the X-Men movies. I'm sorry. I strongly dislike the X-Men movies, and I have never enjoyed Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. From being a fan of the X-Men comic book for years, I do not like what they did with those movies, how they wrote those characters. Now, don't get me wrong. He played the character very well for what they wrote. However, what they wrote was not Wolverine.
No, Wolverine's supposed to be short, hairy, and unloved. He says so in the comics. Look it up.
The moment that I saw Wolverine tear up in X-Men 2, I was done.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely, for what it was written, he did a great job, but I agree. I'm not sold at that slogan.
Now, if we were going to go along with things that like played it well, but what they played, that list would go on forever. I could do that all day. But today we're talking about things that pretty much at least everyone we know are hugely into, that either I myself, Danny, or both of us just simply do not like. For example, I'm sorry, I've so tried, several times even. I do not understand how anybody enjoys Doctor Who. I can't.
That's a little awkward.
So you can join me next week when I have a different co-host. And no, I'm just kidding. But yes, no, I don't get it. I really don't.
It's definitely it's out there as far as TV shows go, and it's not everybody's cup of tea. And I don't mean that it being in the British sense, but it's got its unique flavors, and it's definitely not for everybody. I really don't like certain animes, and I'll throw this one out there. I'm not a big fan of Attack on Titan.
And I know that Scoochie, our crew member, she's a huge Attack on Titan fan, so I know she's strongly offended by that.
Well, but,
she was saying something earlier about she was giving me a hard time about my shirt, and I don't remember what was the deal with that.
Well, it says Waffle House. What is there not to like about Waffle House?
Okay, if it's not a Waffle House shirt, if it's a joke on Stranger Things. If you've seen Stranger Things, it should make sense to you.
Stranger Things is correct.
You don't like Stranger?
No.
Scoochie does not like Stranger Things, and I'm.
Are you gonna get
I'm shocked.
There's going to be like a total brawl going on here when this episode ends.
Tables are going to flip. They're going everywhere. I'm not a big fan of The Walking Dead. I know, it's a shocker. I read the comics when they first came out, and I absolutely loved the comics. And I was hopeful that the TV series would follow a little more closely to the comics. And I
understand why they didn't. And I will admit that there are times where the show does get a little slow. But I'm a huge fan. I absolutely adore The Walking Dead. Yeah. Another one for me.
Another one for you.
The Nightmare Before Christmas is one of 3 movies I actually wanted to get up and walk out of the theater on. I utterly hated it.
I loved it. That was one of the few Tim Burton movies that I've actually liked. Was it campy? Was it a little cheesy? Certainly. But I liked it. I did. I felt it was very unique, kind of robust feeling, as far as claymation goes.
Sure. If you say so.
While we're on the topic, I don't like Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. So this one's a weird one for me. When Game of Thrones first came on, I started it late. So actually, I think I actually started it after the first season had already aired. So I got to watch it all pretty much in the course of a day or two on DVR. And I enjoyed it. I liked it. I thought it was pretty fresh and original, not too cliche. But at the same time, see, my sister and I kind of have this curse where we can watch the first few moments of something and we can tell you this is how it's going to end. And I don't know that we've ever been wrong, to be honest with you. And that's seriously not like, talking big about myself. That's true. And it kind of sucks because it makes it really hard to enjoy things a lot of the time. So spoilers don't bother me anymore because of that, because I pretty much can figure out how it's going to end anyway. And so far, now granted the show's not over yet, but it's heading in the direction that was exactly like we called it way back in season 1. Anyway, that was tangent. Season 2 comes along, and kind of watched it as it went, still kind of enjoyed it, but I noticed that in the off season that I would totally forget what happened. Like I couldn't tell you five things that happened.
Other than everybody dying, I know that's a running cliche, but that's really the most memorable things I get out of it. And that Sean Bean was in it. Briefly, but like
well,
everything
if you gotta
else,
hire a guy to die, I mean
he's the one. He knows how to die.
Yeah. But so the further it went on, I found myself caring less and less and less about it, to the point that I gave up on it.
I gave it a try. I'm a big fantasy guy. I love reading fantasy books, playing tabletop fantasy games, and after about the middle of the first season, I was like, I'm done.
No, I could see myself going back at some point and watching it. Maybe when it's like all said and done, going back and watching the whole thing, kind of in a binge watch type of thing. But as far as like getting excited about it, I don't care.
Yeah, I couldn't get excited about it. I really wanted to, but I couldn't.
And it's not just movies. It's not movies and TV shows. I mean, it's music as well. Cannot stand Led Zeppelin.
I've got to agree with him on that one. I'm not a big Led Zeppelin fan.
I'll even venture as far as to say other than a very small handful of songs, and I know I'm about to lose half our audience right now, but I don't like the Beatles. It's just not my thing. I don't know.
See, I get where the Beatles were coming from. The Beatles were definitely what do you want to say? A group for their age.
A group for their age, and they definitely did change the face of music. I can definitely say that. And same thing for Led Zeppelin, for that matter. I just don't enjoy the music itself. And Scoochie just got very excited there for a second, and I'm not sure what happened, but
she's actually losing it off camera. It's actually kind of funny.
Oh, she's trying not to sneeze. Okay.
If we're going on music, I've got to come down. I'm not a big fan of Elvis Presley.
Ditto. Now, this one I can actually attribute to a particular story. I've never been a big fan of Elvis. I'm just oldies in general. I'm not real big on. But that kind of comes down to, I'm the type of person, I don't have. If you were to ask me what's your favorite kind of music, I don't really have one. I just say good songs are good songs. So I mean, there are bands that I like most of their catalog. And there are others that I don't like any of their catalog. But then there are, country, rap, metal, oldies, rock, polka, whatever. Doesn't matter. I mean, if they write a song and I'm like, I enjoy that song, then I enjoy that song. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Scoochie, yes.
I was watching someone the other day, and he said that he likes all genres of music. You just have to find the good songs in that genre.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, and I agree with that statement. I 100% do.
Yeah.
If a good song is a good song, you're going to like it no matter what. I've never been a really big country fan, but there's definitely a few country songs out there that I like.
Yeah, absolutely. But my point is, though, with Elvis, going back to my story, I was working at a pizza place. I was a delivery driver, and when I didn't have a delivery, our job was we also had a buffet and stuff like that. So our job was to wash dishes and stuff in the back, and we had someone that had come in and had lunch with a big party out in the dining area, and they got on the jukebox and probably dumped about $30 into the jukebox and played this Elvis Greatest Hits CD that had 10 songs, maybe 10 songs or something like that, and they played it over and over and over and over again. So for the entire day, and it was a very slow day, so I only got out for a couple of deliveries. For the rest of the day, I was stuck in there listening to the same very small, because all his songs are real short.
Yeah.
So you're talking about half an hour's worth of music, and that I heard probably 20. I don't know. I'm exaggerating on the amount of time there, but heard those songs over and 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 over. Let me know when this gets old. Over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Get the point? Okay, good. So yeah, not a fan.
Yeah, I have to agree. I listened to Elvis growing up a lot, and I know it's going to upset some people out there, but man, when you hear the same achy breaky whatever enough times, you're literally wanting to break your own ears off.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you guys think? What are some things that you don't like that are kind of universally popular? Some of the more popular things out there. Make sure you leave those in the comments for us. And even, beyond that, it doesn't have to just be that. We've come to the end of a week here, and now we want to, we've talked about things that we had talked about beforehand when we were getting this show ready to go, and now we want to open it up to you. So put in the comments below some things that you guys would like to discuss. We want to get you involved more. If you want to put a video clip in there, send it to us. Mm-hmm. We're actually going to be by the time that you're watching this, actually probably a few days ago by now. We're recording this in advance if you hadn't realized that yet. But by the time that this airs, we should have a Facebook page set up for the show. It'll just be the show Scallywag Productions. And Scallywag Productions, since you're on the channel, you can obviously see that it is SKALLYWAG. Scallywag Productions. And you guys are our Scallywags. So we thank you for joining us this week, and hopefully we can keep this
rolling.
Keep this train rolling.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as always, hey, thanks for watching the show. Here's your Russian clip of the day.
I screwed it up that time. So I'm going to back it up a little bit.
Wasn't me!
See, I was so ready for him to do it that I ended up doing it myself. So, yeah, so we want to know what you guys want to talk about now. Let's get you involved in the discussion. We're going to take your topics that you leave us in the comments, and those are the things that we're going to focus on. And we'll just talk about the same kind of stuff we've been talking about until then. So we'll be back on Monday with your Here's What You Missed. And until then, here's your Russian clip of the day.